Yes, it is another episode of the Master Podcast, and this is one of the podcasts that you learn about business, but from a biblical perspective, and it is that one show that you don't have to miss. And I know you've been following us, I know you've been subscribing to the channel, but always invite a friend to like. And I'm not moving alone. Always I'm moving with the master, I'm moving with the teacher, I'm moving with Mr. Morgan Mwad. Mr. Mwad, how are you doing?
Good, sir. How are you, comic pastor?
This is the third episode of Master Podcast. Yes. And you can see by the reactions, you can see that people are starting to raise a lot of questions, and so many of these questions are saying, why are you choosing the Bible? Why are you even not telling us? Because most people, you know how it is. Every time you do a business seminar, they want to know how they make money. Everyone wants to just go straight to please send us to the money. They don't want us to talk much, and I know it's one of those reasons why people fail, because most of the time, I remember there's this funny little story where I got it from Nigel, you know Nigel, my young brother, where all animals were learning. So they asked the snake, why is it your skin is so smooth? Why is it that it's shining? Why is it? Then while he had gathered all the animals. The frog only heard that part where the snake said, I boil my oil. Then he went away and he boiled oil and he splashed it on his body. And that's where you see all the blisters on the frog, because he did not wait for the whole information. Yes, I boil my oil. I wait for it to cool down. Then I start applying it. So most people are pressurizing us and saying, get to the money. Mr. Mwad.
Yes.
We are still in Genesis. We are still in the beginning. And we haven't even yet touched, maybe we have touched a bit of Genesis 1 verse 1, where we talked about the beginning, God creating heavens and earth. And why are we, this is the question, why are we using the Bible?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think with anything else, I think, you see, when you buy a product,
yes,
it always comes with this book.
A manual.
Yes. And in that manual, they say it is the manufacturer's mind.
Okay.
So that's where the mind. If you want to know how to use that product, go to the manual.
Okay.
Read. Don't just drive your car. No.
First read the manual.
Unfortunately,
most of us will buy second-hand cars.
The second hand, you'll find it in your dashboard.
Most people
don't read.
We also, it's 134 pages.
Yeah.
So going through, how do you switch on lights? You only start thinking of how to switch on lights when you're now driving and you're on the highway and it's getting dark. So going back.
So what happens on that?
Yes.
It means there's three things happening. You are abusing the product, or you are useless, which is using less of the product.
Or you're useless. There's some people, I know most gadgets, when people buy gadgets, we useless.
You useless it. So useless, it means you are using it less, or you are abusing it, which is you're over using it.
That's true.
Abuse.
So the same with a human being.
The same with a human being.
Same with the universe we are in.
They are being abused. They are being useless. And there must be a way a human being must be operated. How do you operate yourself as a product, as a being? So I think this is the reasons why we are using the Bible, to see how did God,
the maker,
what was in his mind about us? What did he want us to, to be operated?
Okay, so the bigger issue here is our maker. Okay. Our maker, because from the manual, reading from the manual, our maker is coming from a dark, formless, empty space.
Yes.
What are these spaces to us? What are they? How do we relate with these spaces where our maker is coming from? Does that have to do anything to do with us? Does that have anything to do with me as a human being, where my maker is coming from?
I like it. You've put it that way. Right, yeah. And I like the way you've expressed it as space. These are 3 different spaces.
Well, yeah, that's he's coming from a formless, dark and emptiness. Yes.
So, you see, going back like in the beginning, let's go back to Genesis 1, which is in the beginning.
God, yeah, we're still there. Why are we hovering on Genesis 1?
That is where the beginning of everything. Be it marriage, be it this. So let's go. Let's stay in the beginning. That's where the end is. Don't go to Revelation yet. Let's stay in the beginning. That's where everything is. Yeah. So in the beginning, God created.
Yes.
So very important emphasis. Last time we talked about the reason of God is,
and remember that argument, that fight of God failed is still making noise.
So this is where you are to what you say today. Those spaces. So those 3 spaces were 3 failures. So soon after creation, the heaven was perfect. But then what was failed was the earth. Because it says now the earth was formless, void, and darkness was covering over the surface of the deep. So what are these 3 spaces? Right. So these 3 spaces are, I would say, let's put it this way in business. You have to be able to describe. You have to be able to explain. You have to be able to define.
We have to be able to
describe. We have to be able to explain.
Yes.
We have to be able to define.
Okay.
Actually, now making sense out of it.
Yes.
Darkness defines nothing.
Okay.
Emptiness or void describes nothing. Then formless.
So you can't nothing. Picture. Yeah. You can't picture. What do you call it? We can't picture there's darkness, there's emptiness,
and there's formless.
Formless. You can't picture formless.
Yes.
You can't say, "Oh, this is how it was."
So you have to be able to do that. Those 3 things.
Yes.
Right. Describe, explain, and then define.
Okay.
So what are we saying? We're saying begin with being able, because this is the problem. This is where our problem is. Remember, we said everyone has got solutions, but they don't have the problem. Stay in the problem.
All right. Up until
stay in the problem.
Okay.
So define the problem, explain the problem.
There you're hearing it. You need to stay in the problem. The moment you want to jump out of the problem, you don't have a solution.
You give a wrong solution.
Okay. You might come up with a solution, but it will be very wrong.
So always stay in the problem. So the problem is good. Don't look for problems, because that's where we
don't want to look for problems.
No, look for problems. That's the beginning of all work. I heard you were talking about creating work in the government. There's no work. You create work for yourself.
You create it for yourself.
You create it because you are a creator, just like God.
Because He said, "Let us make man in our own image." That's into Genesis, eh?
It is, yeah.
We're getting into but not. We still on
Genesis. We'll come to that. But that's also important. Actually, we can correct that, because we were saying creation. What was God? What does God want us here?
Intention.
Intention. What was God's intention?
Yes.
So His intention, our purpose, all of us, purpose is the same. Yeah, it's
to be creative.
It's to be creative. So don't look for purpose.
Your purpose is there.
Is creativity.
Human beings.
Reason why you are here.
This is why there's that part where it says multiply, replenish.
And multiply. So God is creating you.
But now we think multiplication is always to bring out kids and children.
Also.
It's part of it.
I
like it.
It's
so
multiplication
let's make babies.
Yeah. So that's why you are here. Because your mother and father, they made. So multiplication is, remember we said last time, sustainability. So sustainability is the ability to continue.
Okay, so let's not get lost. Let's not get lost. We are on the space. We are on the space of failure. We are staying in the problem.
Yes. So these 3 spaces are description, explanation, and definition. Be able to define your problem. Be able to describe it. Be able to explain it.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Don't tell people about your solution. No, just tell them, explain it, describe it. And so those three spaces also. Maybe let me put an emphasis, because this is where we are failing. I'm always saying to people, if you look at yourself, right, I want to talk more about you because you're very creative. So right now we are in a studio. So it's a space we're talking about. So this is the heavens. These are the heavens. So we are in a heaven.
Okay, so that's why we're creating.
Yeah, so this one is called studio. When we got in here, we knew exactly what to do. And there are certain things. This is not a kitchen. This is not a toilet.
Okay.
There are cameras. So when these spaces you're talking about,
yes.
when your space is well described, well defined,
yes.
well explained,
yeah.
you know what to put in that space.
All right.
Then with you, after recording, what happens with you? You go straight to the radio station
yes.
to promote.
Yes.
When you go to the radio station, there are things you can't find in a radio station that you can find here.
In a studio.
Then after that, what do you need to do? You go now to perform. There are things there for performance that are not in the studio, that are not in the radio station. So these are the three spaces you are talking about.
All right. So
where do they come from? They come from...
Who creates these spaces for you?
You create them. You have to create them. But they're coming from failure. Let's go back to... Was this why we said God failed 3 times? Because that's where the controversy is. Is because God had these 3 spaces, problems. So if you say formless, like I was trying to say, formless...
How could God the creator be living in a formless space?
Why is that the earth
in an empty space?
So where I was coming from, where I wanted to put you was, those 3 words, they just mean nothing.
Okay.
When you say it's formless, you are explaining nothing. When you say void, you are describing nothing. When you say darkness, you are defining nothing.
And our God, the God, look at it. Yeah. Look at it, that the God that we worship. I know most people will be bashing and screaming and saying, you can't say that. But our God lived in a space where there was emptiness, where there was void. Yeah, it was void. It was formless. Formless.
No shape.
So in short, Mr. Mwat, you're saying it's a space of failure.
It's a space of failure.
And we all in these spaces.
That's where we all begin. We all begin with ignorance. Maybe let's put it that way.
Oh, come on. I know you're watching this and you're thinking, so what do I benefit out of this podcast? We have Mr. Moati is helping so many people establish, be it a company, you want to establish a business, you want to do anything, they help you with all the necessary processes. So please, can contact us on the numbers on your screen, and then also talk to Mr. Moati himself, and let's hear your idea. Let's hear your problems. Let's deal with your problems, because you know them. Explain them, define them, and explain, describe, explain and define your problems to us.
So explaining and describing means defining. That's how you define a thing. Then we're talking, I think, let's put also emphasis on talk about it.
All right.
Yeah, you remember you were saying people.
Okay, so there's always when you have a problem or when you have an idea, people say don't talk about it. Yes.
No. Genesis 1. It's all God said. God said. God said. God said. God said. So God was talking.
Okay.
He was saying. So he was saying. He wasn't doing. He was just saying, "Let there be light."
Okay.
Yeah. Let there be this. Let there be. He's saying. Now, why are you silent about
talking out of your? So I would call it talking out of your problems.
Talk out of your problems.
Let there be light. Now the problem is for now everyone wants to be let there be money. Which
is of course it's good. Let's not take away that. But by the end of the day, that same Bible says, "Money answereth everything." So the answer is in money, not in prayer. So
okay. But we want to before we say let there be money, you need to fail.
Oh, you need to fail. You need to look at you.
And we're not ready to fail, Mr. Moati. As human beings, as we want people to feel us. We want the universe to know that the comic pastor is here. If you are a musician, you do 4 songs, they're not a hit. You start to move around and saying, I tried music, it didn't work. I'm now going back to work. I'm looking for a job. And there is always that theory where people talk about, I wanted to do this business. I did everything right, but the money was not coming.
Yeah, so maybe let's explain that failure, because maybe the word failure might discourage someone watching.
Yeah, someone will say.
Let me put it this way. Just yesterday, I think I spoke to you. You were preparing for today.
Yes.
How many times did you practice and you felt it's not right, then you start again?
Yes, you need to think, what am I going to say? Is it going to provoke someone? Is it going to be that dangerous? Is it going to be...
How many times have you tried? How many times? Because you didn't just wake up, come here, and you went straight on camera.
There's a lot of rehearsal, yes.
You were failing.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. So practice is failure.
All right. So practice. There's number one. In business, you need to practice. How do you practice? How does one start their work? How do they practice?
Practice. It's when you got that idea, start going over it over and over again. Because that's how you now. Because remember, for it to form, to come out of formless, for it to start forming, talking about it, repeating, practice. They say practice makes perfect. That's how you start forming. Yeah, we're going to talk about the part 2 of forming, which is the written part. But for now, let's talk about this thing. Let's talk about it. Talk about
the concept. Talk about the car you want to create. Talk about
the problem. Because while you're in that talking, you might get someone coming and also giving you advice. But why don't you do this? But still, yourself just talking of the problem, you start forming,
getting ideas.
Yeah, it starts forming in your head. Start forming. So talk. Don't stop. Yeah.
So you've done the talking part.
Yeah.
You can explain your problem.
Yes.
So my problem is we don't have water. Where I come from, my area doesn't have water. I'm looking for a solution. Should I start by digging a well? Should I start by drilling a bore? Should I start by this is
Yeah, so remember, like we're saying, describing, explaining, and defining.
Yes.
So you want to find out other barriers that might stop, you from digging the well. Or is it allowed to dig the well?
All right, that's number one.
Who is the well for? So who?
It's for my community.
Someone wants to know, how do you define?
Yes.
So who is part of definition?
Who will be in charge?
Who is it for? What is it for? And who is going to do it? Right. Then where? Space. Where is it going to be done? Do we just drill wells anyway?
It's not. Yeah. It's
Then what? We're coming back again to the problem. So what is the problem? Yeah. Why are you drilling
a well?
Yeah. Okay, people walking 20 kilometers every
to get
day
water,
just to fetch clean water. Okay, now we have a need. We are creating light.
So whenever there's a need, that's where creation starts. That's where
whenever there's a problem, not where there's a need, because problem makes need necessary.
Problem
makes need
necessary.
Darkness made light necessary.
I think
the reason why Darren has put these lights is because it was dark. So it's now necessary to put lights. If there were lights, there was no need for another light. But because there was no light, it's now necessary.
What are we saying to a business person? Okay.
Ignorance makes you necessary.
I don't know whether you're getting it, but ignorance
makes you necessary.
Yeah. When there's something that's not known.
I don't know. No, so getting to know it, it's now necessary for you to know it.
This is why people are going to universities.
You don't need to go to university.
There goes Mr. Mwati again against the concept of I know where you're getting this, because I've spoken about it with you, where the snake comes to Eve and say,
you need education,
you need to eat this
knowledge. No, you're already like God. Don't eat anything. You're made like that. You're created like that. You're created to create. Remember, your purpose is to create. Just find out why you are here. So while you are here to create. There's something God wants you to create. So creation is already in you. Like I said to you.
So in short, you're saying there is a solution to every problem
already
in someone.
In someone. Because you being here, that's what purpose is. You being in existence, that's what purpose is. For you just to be here, you are made purpose. God for you to put you on earth.
Okay,
there's a problem.
My question now is at what scale? Is what scale? So now we have a local scale, which may be you're just looking at the setup of life. You have yourself personally, then you have got your family, then you have got your community, then you've got your province, your region, your country, your district, your. At what scale is my solution?
Oh, okay. So that one is very important, because I think this is where we need to move from, especially in developing countries.
Yes.
So you start with you. Charity begins at home.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember coming my first flight. I was told, in case of emergency, put your mask on first.
Yeah, they say it quite a lot when you're on a flight. They say before you try and help someone.
Why? So that you have enough oxygen to help others. If you try to help others without oxygen, then you all die. So they always tell you, put yours first.
Then you have enough.
Yeah.
So to concentrate on the next person.
So that's why I was saying last time, this problem has to be your problem you are facing. When you solve that problem,
when you deal with it yourself,
then think of others. Then say, I don't want anyone else to go through this problem I'm going through. Now think. So you were talking about stages. So first stage, individual. Second stage, I call it organizational. So individual, it's you. Organizational, it's you with your 12 disciples. Or, you look for a team. You make a team.
Okay, now we're getting into Christ already.
So it's that's the blueprint.
Okay.
We follow that print.
It's in the Bible. Yeah, so the problem has to start with me.
With you.
What is my problem?
Yes. What is
my problem? My problem is water. I'm failing to get water.
Yeah.
And I'm moving 10 k's to get a bucket of water. How do I come up with a solution?
Once you've done that, I always laugh. Sorry, babe, to put it this way, but I think when Jesus met the woman at the well, the solution there, why the woman said, come and see the man who told me everything I ever done. What had she done? Jesus, I think this was the start of piping water from a well. So Jesus was saying, guys, look, you come every morning here to fetch water, yes. Why don't you just connect the water
to taps?
To the taps. So I'm going with what you were saying.
Okay.
So if your problem is water, so how do you solve that solution for yourself?
Because Christ, biblically, because Christ had said, I am the water of life.
Yeah, but also he said, I have water that...
If you drink from you will
my
not
well,
thirsty again.
My well.
Yes.
There were two wells. You will not thirsty again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was connecting Christ. She was connecting the water to the community.
That's what.
That's where the concept of piping. The plumbers. That's how plumbers came to be.
So let's go with your question. You were saying, so at which level? Start with you. Always start with you. Right. You are the architect. So you start with you solving your problem. Then soon after that, quick think of others.
Okay.
So I'm saying this, I want to put on this because that's where we are failing in Zimbabwe. We kumusha. We are doing what do you call it? Kurima.
Yes.
We are plowing, we are growing food for our family. Got this, kumusha. Then don't keep thinking of just you
and your family. Get a farm.
Start now thinking, no, even the same farm. Start thinking now, making, in more. The same farm. You can still make, I know, we got big land.
Yes.
So start thinking of others.
If I do this for my family, then I do this other whole part for. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you say I'm doing it for 4 people.
Yeah.
So imagine if 10 people are doing for four people. That's 40 people.
So do it beyond your family. So that's called organizational. You are beginning to organize.
All right.
From organizational, we move now to communal, because you are feeding the community. Then from community, we grow. We got 7 stages. We'll get to there until you get, to the highest stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were looking at explaining.
Yes.
Explain, define, and describe.
Yeah.
We have described.
Yeah.
Everything is now known.
Yeah.
I've painted. Yeah. I've spoken about it. I've moved around telling people that I want to create a car that drives on wind, where we don't have, because the problem is fuel. The problem is why not use water? This is me thinking I want to create that car that uses water, and this is the idea. I'm in the stage of creation. Yeah. What comes in? What is it that?
What happens now? The opposite is true. So the solution becomes natural.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the opposite of formless. What is the opposite of formless?
Is form.
Yes. The opposite of void, emptiness.
Is full. Yes.
The opposite of darkness.
That's light.
Light.
Yes.
So naturally, your solution becomes apparent. It just comes naturally. The solution comes naturally.
Okay.
But with us, we seem to be busy on the solutions, and we don't want the problem.
What is it that you call focusing on the solution? What is it that...
remember, where we come from, all of us,
yes.
we come from trying to, remove problems within our lives. We don't want to feel the pain.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want that. We just want to
feel the pain.
Yeah, we don't want the pain. All we want is, I want to make more money. I want to, we want success. So we should be teaching people to stay
endurance
longer. They should endure pain. Because in that pain, you create a solution. You begin to say, no, I don't want to go through this anymore. So you see, all the stories in the Bible, they all come from, the Israelites, they were what?
They were
under what?
Under serious duress with that guy.
That was the word, oppression.
Yes.
So oppression made it necessary for them to move out of Egypt. Without oppression, they would have never moved. And you see, even on that, look what God did. Because they wouldn't have moved if God had not made the water into blood, the frogs, the
problems. If they were
God put more problems in Egypt that these people, without problems,
Pharaoh would have said,
won't move. You won't move. Without problems, you be comfortable. Yeah.
So you are there, you are out there, you're going through a problem, a big problem. Don't run away from it. Don't stay in the problem. And if you're thinking of starting anything, I don't know what it is that you think of starting. It's a business. You have a business idea. This is the reason why you should be watching this podcast, especially if you believe in God. Then you have more to learn from this podcast, because we're saying the blueprint, the manual, the real manual for a human being is straight in the Bible. It's God Himself talking to us through the Bible, and we've gone even up to Christ, where yet we just dealing with Genesis 1 and the beginning of how God.
That's the major problem, I would say, where we are going to go now. Into this podcast is. The reason why God had said, "Do not eat fruit
from the tree."
In the middle.
Yes.
The tree in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah. So the reason was, do not start things from the
middle.
From the middle.
All right.
Yeah. Don't start from the middle. Don't go to
from the center.
From the serpent. And the serpent tells you his idea of you about God. Go to the source, to the original source. What did God say about you?
And they never did that.
Because Adam had not written it down.
What God had spoken.
God had spoken. So God had.
Because I heard that Genesis was written by Moses.
Yeah. So I think that's another one. We'll go into that. Okay. So why all these years? Why are we giving writing? Why no writing? You see, so it took time for writing to come. It took a long time.
And you remember
people were speaking all this time, but it took time for writing to come. So, what God said about you? So that was the problem. What did God really say about you? Did you really know? So God had already said, you are like me, and you are going to create like me. You are going to create through imagination like me. So
there was no
need for us to get any extra powers or any education about how I should create, because I'm already creating.
But now this person didn't know. Adam didn't write.
That's the problem.
And we now the snake comes in and say,
yeah,
did God say?
Yeah, identity. He wants to know. Do you really know yourself?
Oh, it was not a test. It was not a temptation.
Not really. You wouldn't say it's a temptation. It was just like a pastor. Do you know yourself? Do you know what you should be doing?
And then you say, not so sure.
We got that. So there was like you know what? When what is said is if we begin to argue what was said,
yes,
I will never come, like we said, to a conclusion until we go back to what
the original source,
what was written. So we'll come to that. Like we said, Jesus was quoting what was written, not what was said. So always, when you are in argument, don't be quoting what someone said.
Okay, but let's not also get carried away. We are saying the serpent came then and said,
are we there yet though? Let's go back to Genesis 1.
Okay.
Why are we going? We are quick to that one.
So it has always been hard. It has always been hard for us to
stay in the beginning.
To jump out of the beginning.
Can you see that?
Because the moment we want to jump out of the beginning, then we still there. We haven't even yet gone to the serpent. We haven't even yet gone to understand the input of the fruit, what the fruit really meant, which Mr. Mwat has just brushed around and say it's education, it's whatnot. Should we continue with this podcast? You tell us, give us the feedback. But I'm saying you have a business idea. You want it to grow. There are three things that I heard from Mr. Mwat. Stay in the problem. Don't try and jump out of the problem. Write down. Be able to explain, define, and describe the problem. Then we can come up with solutions. Thank you for watching this Master Podcast. I am the comic pastor, and with Morgan Mwat, Mr. Morgan Mwat, the teacher.
Thank you, my comic pastor.